This is a first edition of 5 spontaneous minutes on the subject of cigarette taxation. There's a few taxes in America that are just flat out abuses by the majority. They have the power and they abuse it. It's that simple. They exploit the politically disenfranchised or the politically unrepresented, and it's that simple. They're just exploiting it for money, and that's all that's taking place here. It should be unconstitutional. Well, it is unconstitutional. It should be recognized as being unconstitutional by the courts, because you know, if you read old you know, Supreme Court decisions, you know, from the early 1900s, you know, they used to talk about taxation and the responsibility that the government had to, you know, it had to be for the equitable distribution of the tax burden. You know, you couldn't come up with a tax scheme that wasn't equitable. It had to have some sort of equitable value in it. So yeah, you could have progressive taxation because it made some sense, you know, that to tax the rich more than you would tax the poor, that the obligation should be a little higher. They've benefited more. They should pay a little more. Okay, so that could be rationalized, but you can't rationalize taxing minority vices. Prohibition, you know, why would they have bothered with a constitutional amendment, changing the Constitution to prohibit alcohol, if they thought that was a reasonable answer to just tax it out of public consumption? I mean, they could have put a $20 tax on, you know, per bottle on booze or whatever, and that would have been it. Okay, you would have had the same crime, the same other stuff, the same black markets, all the rest of it. You know, it would have been the same disaster, but you need a constitutional amendment to do it. You need a 3/4 vote. You just need a 50% vote to just pass some tax legislation. But the reason why it wasn't done that way is because, yeah, you know, 100 years ago, guess what? It wasn't constitutional in America to tax a minority vice. You know, not exploitively. I mean, you could tax it reasonably, but you can't tax it, you know, 800%. That's what people are paying for cigarettes. They're paying 800% more than the value of the cigarettes, based on silly lawsuits and taxation from the federal government and the state. And so you're talking about 800% tax. What's taxed at 800% in this country? And something that actually kills innocent people, innocent victims, women, children, little babies, little 5-year-old girls, all kinds of things, innocent things, alcohol. Yeah, no, it's not. It's you know, it's taxed at something like, you know, 10, 20, 30% the most. I mean, it's silly. 800% for cigarettes. And guess what? Cigarettes are a net benefit to the national economy. You know, in spite of the lie. Then it is a lie, huge lies. You know, is the premise of all this legislation. Look, let me make it clear. I hate cigarettes. If it was the first thing I would change if I had a right to, you know, change something in my life, is that decision I made when I was 12 years old to smoke cigarettes. Okay, I was an idiot. All right, so whatever. That's old. That's history. I can't change. You know, and so now I'm a current addict, and that's just a fact. I'm an addict. And just like some people can drink alcohol and it's not a problem, some people can't. And you know, for me, yeah, cigarettes hard to quit, really tough. So I'm stuck with it. I'm stuck paying $50 a week in taxes, you know, $3 grand a year to smoke in my own house in America. That doesn't really make sense. But anyway, let's get back to the lie, okay? Because we don't have much time. Let's get to the lie. And the lie is that cigarette smokers cost the economy more money. It's just preposterous. Cigarette smokers don't die when they're 30 or 20 or 40 even, okay? They die usually after 60. And just like anybody, anybody who dies, it's expensive. It doesn't matter when you do it. It's the same, you know, well, actually it costs more statistically. The older you are, dying costs more money because it takes you longer to do it when you're older, and you know, because you know, even cancers grow slower. You know, and your weakened condition just means that, you know, you die more slowly and more harshly. I mean, unfortunately, they don't got time to finish, but guess what? Cigarette smokers don't collect their Social Security benefits, and they don't collect their pensions, and they die after their most productive years. So it's a silly argument. Cigarette smokers are a benefit to the economy, and there's just no excuse for exploiting them like this.